Hey everybody, Couch Potato Boomer here, and I just got back from a great walk. Had a wonderful time. I'm very blessed. I'm very lucky. I live in Miami Beach. I'm right near the beach. Um, take advantage of that whenever I can, right? Not as often as I should, let's be honest. I mean, you can tell, right? This is why I'm trying to lose weight, trying to get in shape. But I should be developing those habits, right? We're talking about Atomic Habits by James Clear. So one of the habits I should be developing is walking every day, is exercising every day. So I'm going to share screen. Let's share my screen. And oh, not there, not there. Here we go, right here. Let's share this. Let's share this with you. Okay. Everybody see that? I know I just created a little quick PowerPoint. I figured, what the heck? Um, and just bear with me. I am a tech immigrant, right? That's what I am. I am not born with it. My kids obviously are all naturals at this. So let's talk about this concept that Jim Clear deals with at the beginning of his book, the aggregation of marginal gains. And what does he mean by that? There's this like 1% rule that he talks about as well, but like he introduces, I mean, I love this story. He introduces the concept of the aggregation of marginal gains by telling this story of the coach, a new coach of the national British cycling team. They brought him in a few years ago. The British cycling team used to be one of the worst cycling teams ranked. They never won any Olympic medals. They never won international contests. Tour de France, they never won. And he started introducing this concept of the aggregation of marginal gains, meaning what are those small things that they could do to improve? Um, he looked at the styles of the helmets they wore. He looked even at the material of the the uniforms that they wore, and he found that the material of the cyclists, professional cyclists, and the uniforms of the professional cyclists that did the indoor professional cycling was lighter and more streamlined. So like he was dealing with people that did outside races, so he switched. He found that if you cleaned your bicycles much more often and not letting dust accumulate, that helped, and so forth and so on and so on. This concept of aggregation of marginal gains, until within a few years, from the late 1990s, early 2000s, the British national team went through this period where they won multiple Tour de France's, gold medals and silver medals. They started medaling at Olympics, winning international competitions because they went through this process of the aggregation of marginal gains. And I think that is what, um, that is what Jim Clear starts to speak about, right? He talks about doing small incremental things. That's his concept of atomic habits, is developing those small incremental improvements in your life. And he asks that question, do you want small wins or setbacks? And he goes through this example. If you try and improve yourself, even minimally, 1% per day, he says by the end of the year, you'll end up 37 times better by the time you're done. And how does he do that? He talks about not setting goals, by the way, not setting goals. He's all about the systems. Now, let me bring this other person up. So I, for years, was into this guy named Jim Rohn. I don't know if you ever heard of Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn was a motivational speaker. from especially super popular in the 70s and 80s. He was from Idaho, and he had this real nasally voice like this. And he gave presentations and he said, "What you gotta do is you gotta set goals, write it down, make lists." I mean, he was really, really into that. Like, he really believed, Jim Rohn really believed in making these improvements. In how did you make improvements? You set goals, you made lists, and you stuck to those goals. He said, if you can write it down, you visualize it, and you can move on, you can check it off the list. And he believed in writing lists, setting goals, and even to the point where he said you should reflect. Okay. Um, you know, morning. You should set your goals for the day. You should review them at night, and we even set goals for the next day. So he really believed in not only just long setting long-term goals, but short-term goals as well. So, like I said, James Clear, just to conclude, and I think that's what I have to develop is a system, right? Goals versus systems. James Clear, Jim Rohn emphasized goals. He thought that was the process, and setting goals and reflecting on your goals, and that would be a way to move forward. James Clear focuses on the systems. He says if you want to achieve, systems are about the processes that lead the results. Goals are good. They're good for these results you want to achieve, but they're not the way that you can do it. It doesn't lead you to that process. It still leaves you, it's still up to you. Systems are for making progress, right? And I think that is what we need to do, develop a systems first mentality, right? And Atomic Habits hopefully will give me those building blocks. And I started at the beginning of this video talking about going for a walk and exercising. So whenever I go for a walk, I have a system. I would like to build this system into something that I do every day. I do a system of stretches, right? I start at the top. I start with my neck. But I can hear my neck cracking. I don't know if this microphone is good enough. And then the shoulders, and then the arms, and then I work my way down. I've also started to incorporate some of the exercises. They call them chair yoga, of trying to stretch my body. I do squats. Now, again, um, I think what I want to do is try and do the stretches and do some of the chair yoga and things and incorporate that into a morning routine because my morning routine is crap. Um, my morning routine, and every morning I say I'm not going to do what I do, but I do it, right? Because I don't, I haven't really set a good goal for my morning routine, and I don't have a system in place. Well, I do have a system in place, but it's a bad habit system in place. Um, my system in place is I get up, make the coffee, sit on the couch. I sit on my couch and I start looking at my phone. And I tell myself I'm only gonna look at my phone for 10 or 15 minutes. And then before I know it, half hour, 45 minutes pass. I also am trying to read every day and in the morning. And in the morning, I read a nonfiction book. I try and read a nonfiction book, whether it's a self improvement book, right? Let's get that clear. Whether it's a self improvement book or a history book. I'm a history geek, among other things. So I'm trying to learn. Maybe I'll share some of the books that I'm reading as well. Anyway, right? Systems. Let's work on setting those systems, those positive systems, so we can improve 1% per day. All right? Join me. If you like what you see, subscribe, make a comment. Let me know. Does anybody here have a good system in place? I would love it to see what kind of system you have that's helping improve your life in a positive way. All right? All right. Until next time. Thank you very much. This is Danny Couch Potato Boomer. And thank you so much for being sticking with me. And don't forget to subscribe. Help me grow. I want to help. I want to share my journey. Until next time. Thanks so much. And we're done. And we're done. And we're not done yet. How do we stop? Let's stop. Ah, click end. That would be a good one, right? Click end. Click end. End meeting for all, which is just me.